Okay, so welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your coffee and working over it. We're in for the second part of our morning, and this is when we look into some good practices of sustainable and socially accountable public procurement. As I had the chance to mention before in the first part of the morning, and as Professor Stoyan also mentioned, unfortunately, Emma Johansson from the city of Malmö cannot be here today. She sent an email saying that she is sick. But luckily, we have 3 very interesting good practices, and I think that we will be happy that they make good use of the time slot of Ms. Johansson as well. So I am now giving the floor to Councillor Stuart Stacey as cabinet member of Birmingham City Council. Sorry? Yeah, Giancarlo, I was, since, it's from here, I was introducing him as last, to be nice to the host. But it was nice of you to point that out. Thank you. And Fredrik Levbout, I'm not sure about the pronunciation of your surname, Fredrik, but hopefully it's like that. And from Mr. Cyril, procurement expert from regional government, Flanders. And last but not least, our Mr. Giancarlo Zocca from Intercent-ER. Intercent-ER is actually the regional agency that is managing e-procurement processes and the e-procurement database of that public authorities within region Emilia-Romagna need to use to procure. Okay, so now sitting with you, and please, gentlemen, you can come here. You can sit all together, and then presentations are here somewhere. Okay. They're ready. Però si riesce a girarlo così e poi scambiare. Unfortunately, it can be a bit flexible moving around.
Good morning. My name is Giancarlo Zocca, and I will speak about sustainable tenders in Emilia-Romagna, and in particular about the experience of Intercent-ER, which is the central purchasing unit of the region. I'm sorry because my English is not very good, but I try to speak as clear as I can. So, here is the summary of my presentation. I will start to a general and a fast overview about Intercent-ER, and then I will focus about our approach to sustainable procurement. And finally, I will show some concrete sustainable tenders we have made, and I will speak about the lessons we have learned till now. So let's start. General review of Intercent-ER. Intercent-ER was a regional agency. It was born in 2005 with several goals. First of all, rationalize the purchases of goods and services of local administrations. And it has many other goals. Improve the efficiency and the quality of procurement processes, and rises competitiveness and quality of economic system. Intercent-ER activities is built on 4 main key factors that are demand aggregation, procurement services, strong market analysis, and the elaboration of effective and innovative tender strategies in order to reach several goals that we can see inside the box. So price reduction, savings, innovation, and so on. Through Intercent-ER, the regional public administration can buy a wide range of goods and services. In the box on the left, there are the general goods and services for all public administration, while in the box on the right you can see those goods and services specific to the health system. So vaccines, surgical gloves and knives, and so on. Some general results. Now there are more than 800 public administration in Emilia-Romagna using Intercent-ER to buy goods and services. All the municipalities of the region, all the health trusts, all the university, many schools. And in 10 years, this administration have used Intercent-ER to buy almost 5 billion euros of goods and services with savings for more than 700 million euros. This is to say that, to give you an idea of the dimension and the business involved, and to say that public administration are really a strong consumer, it can have a strong impact on the market, and they can really favor the improvement and the development of sustainable practices. So, our approach to sustainability in public procurement. Why? First of all, we understand that public procurement can't be focused only on price reduction. And public procurement can be a strong instrument to promote innovation and competition and to act positively in the productive system. So we have tried over the years to widen our concept of sustainability, starting from economic sustainability to include also environmental and social issues. In fact, developing sustainable procurement, contracting authorities can assume a leading role to foster product and process innovation and award virtuous practices. Starting from this consideration and according to Emilia-Romagna priorities, because Emilia-Romagna has a strong attention to green economy and to social inclusion, Intercent-ER has tried to push its attention and its activities towards sustainability. In fact, through sustainable procurement, Intercent-ER can reach many important goals. For example, optimize the use of public resources, give a contribution to environmental protection and community welfare, promote innovation, stimulate the growth of the green economy and the market careful to social issues, and promote cultural change among local public administration in the region. So how we do it? We do it mainly with in two ways. First of all, we try to include minimum sustainable criteria inside our tenders in the form of technical specification of the subject of the tender, the technical capacity of the supplier, and inserting in contract performance clauses in the post-awarded phase. As second, we try to give higher points to those offer which green or social characteristics in our tenders awarded to the most economically advantageous offer. As a third, our procurement system give to the administration the opportunity to use autonomously an instrument called electronic market. Public administration can use this instrument for low amount purchases, and they can select suppliers from a register that we have built. In this register, those suppliers with social or environmental certification are clearly identifiable. So the public administration can choose those administration more careful to social responsibility. Okay. Our experience in sustainability started with focusing on green factors. We started in 2008, including green criteria in our tenders. First of all, there are tenders. Initially, they were tenders very simple, but they became increasingly complex over the years. Till now, we have been working on 40 green framework contracts concerning these categories, for example, cars, personal computer, food products, etc. Then we have tried to face a wide concept of sustainability, not only focused on environmental aspects, but on more general social clauses. And we started this project in 2011, and our approach to a more general social procurement was built by three main steps. First, we tried to elaborate shared guidelines for social procurement. Then we tried to test social clauses in our framework contracts. And finally, we constantly try to improve professional skills on these matters among Intercent-ER employees. As first in 2011, Intercent-ER started a project to elaborate shared guidelines about social procurement. We put together public administration and local enterprises to discuss about this topic, what can be difficulties, what can be chance, and we collected their contribution and suggestion, and we published a manual, a very operative guide for social procurement that we give to all local public administration in Emilia-Romagna. This suggestion, we use this suggestion to test some framework agreements with social clauses. Until now, we have made 9 framework agreements with the social clauses. Some of them I will show you in details later. And finally, now this year we have defined a plan to improve the skills of Intercent-ER's employees on social procurement. This plan includes training meetings over the year, sharing tools and good practices among different offices, and we have instituted an internal committee with the duty of evaluate the opportunity to introduce sustainable clauses in each tender. Okay. let's see some concrete experience. This an experience we've made for the procurement of food products. It handles its framework agreements with the duration of 2 years for an amount of almost 40 million euros. In the box on the left, there are the green criteria included in the tender, and on the right, you can see the social criteria included. In the tender, there are many biological products, and for example, we have asked the supplier to use ecological vehicles for the delivery, use ecological pallets or recycled packaging, for example. On social criteria, regarding social criteria, the supplier was asked to supply also, for example, products from lands confiscated to the mafia, products from social cultivation with the label named Agricoltura Sociale, and products that came from fair trade with this label. As a second example, the procurement of clothing and uniforms. It's a framework agreement for the total amount of 11 million of euro. There are some green criteria we have included in this tender regarding, for example, the use of recycled materials, the use of cotton from biological cultivation. We asked for many environmental labels, and as social criteria, we asked the supplier to adopt a social balance with a particular reference to supply chain traceability. As third, this is a framework agreement concerning the furniture for schools. We asked for a lot of green criteria that cannot be listed in this box, but we included all the environmental criteria defined by the National Environmental Department. And for social criteria, we ask that the furniture has to be compliant with social standard in relation to working condition along the world production chains. If the supplier have a social balance, that was awarded in the evaluation phase. And the supplier was asked to present a map of the production chains with a risk analysis for sub-suppliers, a plan for monitoring risks, and eventually a plan to reduce the risk in the chain. As a final example, a framework agreement for security and portrait services. We ask to use ecological vehicles during the service. And if the suppliers should go out of business during the 3-year duration of the tender, the new supplier has to employ the workers involved before the bankrupt. Okay. What we have learned with this experience? We have learned that in our region there is a higher level of attention and interest to sustainability, even among local public administration. It often appears that this awareness about sustainability is higher among public administration than among economic operators. Unfortunately, this attention is not always coupled with a specific technical knowledge on sustainable procurement. The framework is not so clear on this theme, especially for general social procurement. So it can be a risk for public administration to introduce sustainable criteria if it's not so defined by the law, if the rules are not clear. But probably the main difficulty we have met is the conviction that sustainable products are always more expensive than others. In many cases it's true, and but sometimes it's not. Now, in the present economic context, public administration are mainly focused on a short-term perspective and on price reduction. So it's a main difficulty to really apply sustainable criteria in public procurement. Finally, we find out that enterprises are forced to adopt those behavior asked by public administration. So if public administration asks for sustainable food and products, the enterprises can answer fastly. Finally, as I said before, it's very important to set up a clear regulation framework which can encourage the adoption of sustainable practice. And it's equally important sharing knowledge and good practices at every level, regional, national, and European. Just as we are doing now. Okay. Thank you for your attention.